Hey everybody, what's going on? Mark here. Before we get started with this week's show, I wanted to remind you that we have a deal going on over at Cryptid Crate. That's cryptidcrate.com. At checkout, you can use our promo code, that's Grampus, Grampus, for 20% off your first monthly box. Cryptid Crate is a monthly subscription box filled with various cryptozoology and paranormal-themed items to wear, display, and collect. You can expect a carefully curated box with the creeptastic pieces from indie makers and artisans pertaining to Bigfoot, Sasquatch, UFOs, ghosts, and other cryptids and mysterious creatures. At checkout, be sure to use our promo code Grampus. Again, that's Grampus for 20% off your first monthly box. Cue the creepy music. Welcome to the Cryptonaut podcast. I'm Mark Storrs, and with me, as always, is
Chris Garcelli
and
Rob Morphy.
Welcome back to the show. Real quick, be sure to rate and review us on iTunes and Apple Podcasts. It helps us out greatly.
Oh, so much. And
greatly.
There's a perk.
There's a perk. If you rate and review us, we will read your review on the show, and we have some reviews to read.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, we got a deluge, if you will, of reviews.
Got a torrent of reviews.
Yeah, we got a whole bunch of reviews, due in part to our good buddy Derek Hayes over at the Monsters Among Us podcast, giving us a nice little plug. So we're going to give him a plug back.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
There's a plug
thank
back
you.
for Derek.
And a phenomenal podcast.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. He recently launched a Patreon, and I'm a proud patron of his Patreon.
Boom!
So be sure to go and check his Patreon out. He's a great dude with an awesome show and definitely is worth the money. So check that out. Here is one of our reviews. It's titled A Rare Gem of a Podcast. And this comes to us from the Pine Barren Institute. This is one of those rare podcasts where everything just works. The hosts are fun and charismatic. The stories are thorough and well written. The cryptids are not your run-of-the-mill mainstream variety, which makes it super fun. The audio quality is pleasant on the ears. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
As someone who constantly researches and as someone who is constantly researching and writing about cryptids, this show is a gem. Easily in my top 5 podcasts of this nature. If you're a fan of this subject matter, definitely subscribe and spread the word. Adam, the Pine Barrens Institute.
God
Thanks,
bless
Adam.
you, Adam.
Yeah, actually, I've been talking to Adam.
First of men.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, indeed.
I've been talking
origin.
I've been talking to Adam all week. Check out his website, the Pine Barren Institute.
Yeah, you've been raving about that institute to me. I can't wait to check it out.
It's a really cool Wisconsin-based cryptid website. We're going to put a link in the show notes to his site. It's really cool. There's also a banner on Cryptopia and Cryptonaut for that, so you can click there or you can just go to the show notes.
Yeah, we might have to do a crossover at some part. The Dogman of Bray Road.
Yeah,
I believe
totally.
That's Wisconsin.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fascinating, not obscure because it's fairly well known, but like really kind of off the beaten path fun cryptids and phenomenon in Wisconsin. So I will definitely be checking that out, and I can't wait till we get to these.
Yeah.
Next review here is a great show. This is from Joker Nab. Love the show. The guys bicker like an old married couple, passive-aggressively trying to force an aneurysm on their significant other. However, the information is presented objectively, and they don't necessarily jump to the paranormal aspect, but explore all options before jumping to conclusions.
That's so spot on. It stings.
I will always put on my skeptic hat, my skeptic pants, and my skeptic boots.
And I will always
until it's time
try to indulge you
take
guys
them off.
As far, when Chris strips off the skeptic boots, stripses, new word.
That's right. I stripses.
Yeah, when you stripses them off, it's on.
What do I Gollum? I stripses.
I know.
Precious boots.
Okay, next one is from Wang Wang 28.
Oh God, Wang Wang.
Wang Wang. What's up, Wang
Big
Wang?
Trouble fan?
Yeah. Pretty good for a young podcast. Will only get better with time.
Oh no, Wang Wang.
Yeah, Wang Wang.
I'm so
the
sad.
Actor Wang Wang.
Yeah, not Wang from Big
I
Trouble
was
in Little China.
I was gonna give it to you.
No, you don't give me that. You always insult me. There's Dennis Chen from Big Trouble in Little China, whom I adore.
Yeah.
But then there is Wang Wang, the ultimate diminutive superstar from the Philippines.
Depending on how it was spelled. Wang Wang is spelled.
Wang Wang West.
Is it with an A or an E?
WANG 28.
So it's different.
I'm
Okay,
a huge fan of Wang Wang, and I'm sorry
All
I missed
Wangs.
it.
Next,
all Wangs, yeah.
I love
you
Wangs,
give me
guys.
a Wang.
I love Wangs.
I'm into it.
Okay, next one from Country Boy 66, a great monster podcast. These guys talk about interesting things and are really good at it. Give them a listen, and that was a 5. Actually, all these have been 5-star reviews. So thank you.
Hot damn
Thank you very
tamale.
much.
Yes. Thank you guys all.
You know, if you didn't know, we did have a podcast for 5 years before this.
Yeah,
we did.
So,
We did.
you know,
call that the beta project.
5-year beta
It was,
project.
we were refining our skill set.
Exactly. Actually, having done the podcast, the Earth Some Ideas Bastards, R.I.P. Before this, definitely it gave us time to work our dynamic out a little bit, and
also we've been friends for literally
that helps
ever.
Yeah, for 20 some odd years. So, okay, there are the reviews, and remember to write in when we would read them on the show. And this week, this is going to be
this is the week.
This is the week. Now, Chris and I again. Didn't get a chance to look over this, so this is going to be all new to us, but we are dealing with the Vegetable Man, which comes to us from West Virginia.
Boom.
Here we go.
Quickly perused it.
I literally did like a quick little I didn't
scan,
get the
quick
entire
scan.
thing. Okay, so here we go. Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the salad bar, this bizarre plasma-craving vegetative monstrosity seems to have leapt right off the 1950s drive-in movie screen and directly into the path of an unsuspecting hunter. A young man who needed to fear not only his potential loss of sanity, but also the very real loss of his blood.
Oh.
Thus the throwback to plasma.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
The dramatic pause. Nice. All right. So this again, I mean, I say this a lot, but this is amongst my favorite things. When I came across this story in an old paperback by Brad Steger, who did a lot of fun paperbacks, and I'll give him a direct shout out in a minute. I fell in love instantly. Went online, did all the research I could. Did all the and there's not a lot to really dig up into this, but it's fascinating. It's wonderful, and let's begin. During the waning hours of a long summer day in July of 1968, a bow hunter by the name of Jennings Frederick. That's a great name, by the way.
That's 2 last names.
Yeah, that's 2 last names. And you know what? When
Well,
you
the
have 2
last name
names,
could be a first name, too.
That's a super name.
Yeah, it's a reversal.
I trust that guy.
Oh, yeah.
Totally.
If he was my senator, I'd be totally cool with that.
Senator Jennings, I'm down.
Yeah. Jennings Frederick.
I'm sorry.
It'd be Senator Frederick. All right. Was stalking woodchucks in the bucolic backcountry outside of his Fairmount, West Virginia home. Unable to bag his quarry, Frederick was about to call it a day when he stumbled across a nearly indescribable entity that would forever alter his perception of the natural world. In his 1978 chronicle of extraterrestrial encounters titled Alien Meetings, researcher and author Brad Steger, aforementioned, stated that the bizarre and harrowing event began when Frederick, a West Virginia native as well as U.S. Air Force veteran, heard a sound which he compared to a high-pitched jabbering much like that of a recording running at exaggerated speed.
Okay.
The bow hunter glanced up and saw one of the strangest sights ever recorded. According to Frederick, he was confronted by a looming, green, jaundiced-gazed being with an impossibly thin, almost skeletal frame. Steger continues his description in his book. Suddenly there it was, a being with semi-human facial features, long ears, and yellow slanted eyes. Its arms were no bigger around than a quarter. Its body resembled the stalk of a plant in shape and color, for it was slender and green.
So its arms are no bigger than
A quarter.
Round as a quarter.
That's unfathomably thin.
Now, and does he give a?
Wait a minute. How far away was it?
It was right. It was
like right in front of
it was
him?
just
Yeah.
near.
Okay.
It was
Does he
like-
give like a height by any chance? Is that coming up? I don't want to read ahead.
It might be. It might be.
Okay,
Or I
we'll see.
made a garish miss. I think including its huge ears.
Okay.
Which, and I did an illustration of it, or sort of stalk-like and plant-like, like the rest of something that would be called the Vegetable Man. I think with that included, it was about 7 feet in height, which would mean its head was probably about eye level with your average.
So this thing, what does it
human
weigh?
being.
Like 34 pounds? If
Like
it's that skinny?
it would be absurdly thin.
Yeah, like you could just. Yeah. Okay.
Like gusts of wind would take it away, like a kite frame.
it's like a corn
I just figured the
stalk,
picture like a
basically?
big stick bug.
Yeah,
Walking
Yeah,
around
totally.
that's a good way to think
Yeah,
of it, because
or-
that's what I imagine.
Yeah.
Maybe a mantis alien. Sorry, continue.
All right, well, mantis aliens are a whole other subgenre. But we didn't even get to the thing that perturbed Frederick the most. Most disturbingly, Frederick noticed that this strangely sentient flora had what appeared to be 3 exceedingly slender, 7-inch long fingers with syringe-like protrusions at the tips. These prickly needles, or thorns perhaps, tapered down into suction cup shapes where the first knuckle would have been on a human finger.
7 inches?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
All right, so you got and this is like pre-Freddy Krueger. This is just creepy. Skinny fingers are creepy. When they add needle-like tips, it's worse. Despite the shock he felt upon seeing the creature, not to mention the elevated pitch and speed of its inhuman voice, Frederick's panic-addled brain managed to translate the foreign sounds emanating from the thing into this seemingly innocuous message. You need not fear me. This is the creature talking. I wish to communicate. I come as a friend. We know of you all. I come in peace. I wish medical assistance. I need your help.
So this thing was jabbering at a high rate of speed,
like,
and he could pick that out from it?
Well, I guess, you know what? To me, it's probably more like when you played like an old record at an RPM or whatever it was that was a little too fast.
Yeah.
You could still make out what was being said, but it took your brain a second to process it.
Right. Okay, so...
Maybe.
That's kind of what I'm assuming. I don't know that's what he heard. Unfortunately, he didn't have a tape recording device. So none of us will ever, hopefully none of us will ever know. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that coming from
when something
somewhere.
Says you need not fear me, you fear it.
You fear it.
Yeah.
That's
but like fast in a chipmunk voice.
I think
all right.
I think we literally just heard the Vegetable Man.
Hold on. I'll be right
Vegetable
back.
Man on tape.
I got you, man.
I didn't know that you had a good Vegetable Man in
Maybe I'm the Vegetable Man. Raj.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Let's save that. Let's save that. What I don't like is kind of, I guess what lends some credence to it is that this is clearly not an entity whose first language is English.
No,
it is super repetitive in a weird way. It's very short sentences.
Yep.
It's trying to convey the thing. Don't fear me. I got to talk. I'm your buddy.
So biologically speaking,
I know all you guys. It's good.
Whatever that
I'm
means.
Here in peace.
I know you all.
I need some med help. I need your help.
What does it mean? I know you all.
Yeah, I know you. I assume, and of course, this
know
is
you
raw
all.
speculation. I'm familiar with the nature and perhaps intentions of your species,
of humanity,
which of course could be a mixed blessing because we don't look all that good on paper. Generally speaking,
this was in the 70s.
78. Well, 78 is when the incident was. It happened in July of 68. 78 is when the book was published.
Well, of course.
So this is in the thick of the Vietnam era. But lots of things going on globally.
But there could
68.
be clearly there could be errors there because he's the only one that was there. So that's what he thought he heard it say.
Okay,
that's what he thought he heard it say.
But it's pretty specific.
Yeah,
which doesn't mean
but for something that you can't quite understand, so you hear it and then your brain has to process it after you heard it. So it's not like we're talking now and you're understanding every word I'm saying. Right. It's like doodly doodly, and then you're like,
yeah,
I love apples.
Right.
Disco's cool when it happens.
Disco is cool. Yeah. Can't wait for disco. All right.
Stoked.
So this is not the worst of it.
Okay.
Before he could react to this eccentric entities, that's what I get for trying to be illiterate.
Okay, yeah.
Alliterative plea for help. The thing suddenly lunged towards Frederick and wrapped its fibrous fingers around his hand with alarming strength.
It said, "Don't fear me."
Yeah.
And then
why
jumps at him?
why would you do that if that was your intention?
Just to exactly make that.
This is how intergalactic wars start.
What would an intelligent predator say? But hey, it's cool. It's not so cool because at this moment, thorn-like fingertips of this entity penetrated Frederick's rugged flesh, sending an excruciating jolt of pain up his arm.
Oh, so the thing just stuck him.
Now's where it gets weirder.
Okay.
If it's possible. Without warning, streaks of crimson began to leach into the leafy thing's yellow eyes. The colors began to inexplicably swirl together, creating a rotating pattern of orange circles, which had a hypnotic effect on Frederick and seemed to instantly alleviate the pain. What's funny is, like, this is some shit out of, like, some backwoods carnival. like, look at the spinning dial, and you'll lose your consciousness.
Yeah, exactly. The spiral makes
almost
it
like an anesthetic of some sort?
Like every other shitty sci-fi movie in the 1960s, or
exactly,
you know, or
TV
spiral. Show. Like they would have used it on Batman, this TV show.
Oh fuck yeah, several times,
like 100 times.
But,
yes.
but the hypnotic effect was giving him and it was like an anesthetic, almost like an anesthetic. Yeah, to keep him like calm while
relaxed. Like he says, he comes in peace. He knows you guys. It's cool. Lunges out, grabs the arm before you can react. He's got hypno eyes,
right?
Which is pretty weird. You've got these bright yellow, big slanted eyes. What looks like blood leaches in, which has got to be a creepy thing to see.
Because clearly it's sucking your blood.
Yeah. As it's sucking your blood. Is it using Jennings' blood to...
Is a swirl?
I don't think so.
That's what I assume.
I don't know.
That's what I got from that.
He's got quarter size, maybe his entire cardiovascular system, if indeed he
has
one.
His arm is just a vein.
It's just one big suction pump.
Okay.
We don't
arm
know.
is a vein. That's right.
I like your dance.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Although his suffering had ceased, the hunter could feel the blood being siphoned from his veins by this botanical nightmare. The process of exsanguination lasted less than 2 minutes, but the experience would haunt Frederick for the remainder of his days.
Well,
after this evidently carnivorous, plant-like beast had had its fill of Frederick's blood, it abruptly released its stunned victim, turned, and sprinted up a steep embankment on its slender legs.
So it just booked? It bailed out of there?
The astonished veteran would later note that the creature swiftly disappeared over the crest of a hill, as each of its gravity-defying leaps had carried it no less than 25 feet.
Wow, all right.
And also it hulked its way.
If it's made of nothing but muscles, fibrous bamboo...
I feel like not muscles at all.
It weighs close to 11 pounds.
So this thing can move.
Possibly this is plausible.
I picture a big stick bug, like running around, being a dick.
Just huffing around, but stealing your blood.
Sucking
where's
a little bit.
Keep the blood?
Being that light, it could definitely travel that fast, 25 feet. Just go.
Well, it's not fighting gravity. It's got long, slender limbs.
Okay.
I mean, that's just what's happening. Understandably, as soon as the vegetable man had vanished, Frederick felt the throbbing pain rush back into his now pockmarked hand. With the pain also surged a swell of panic. Who can blame him?
Well,
as he raced away from the scene, Frederick heard a deep humming sound, which he later guessed may have been the propulsion system of a UFO taking the likely alien entity home.
Shit.
That is pure speculation on Frederick's part.
Okay, yeah.
He heard a hum. It could have been a generator. It could have been a transistor overloading.
But he was like, propulsion system, UFO, it's leaving.
It could have been fair to think that it could have been like a remote control helicopter if they had them.
Right. It could have been the creature itself just going far away and just going, I'll fool him.
Flying away.
Don't fear me.
Oh, he must have left.
It's kind of like when someone does that thing like, you make someone think that like you're running away on the floor and you go,
yeah,
and you stop. You do the fake runaway,
or when they would clop horses with coconut half shells and old radio shows.
Yeah, do sound effects.
Yeah, it's Foley. It's straight up Foley. All right, so he's assuming it's a UFO. Understandably, you don't see a lot of vegetable men on Earth, generally speaking.
No.
So as he's making his way back home, he became frightened by the potential ridicule that would almost inevitably accompany his account of his run-in with this vampiric varmint. Frederick resolved to keep the story to himself and told his family that the wounds had been caused by a run-in with a briar patch.
Those damn briar patch.
Was he Peter Rabbit? What
briar
the hell?
Patch?
Yeah. Dude, when you get your little rabbit coat stuck in the briar patch,
it's trouble.
And the farmer tries to get you.
Next time I go to the ER, if I get goddamn briar patch. My arm's hanging off.
Wound, they have to report the police. Nah,
briar patch.
Fucking briars, man.
How did you get multiple stab wounds in your chest cavity at briars? I don't know, man. Briar
terrible.
Patches, yeah.
Terrible in this.
Stink bugs and briars, man.
Oh, danger.
If a dude shows up looking for me, don't tell him that I'm here. Briar patch.
All right. Needless to say, some years later, he found that he could no longer live with the secret and revealed a strange story to an author and paranormal investigator by the name of Gray Barker. Barker, who was instrumental in investigating such trailblazing cases as the Flatwoods Monster and the Mothman, as well as introducing the world at large to the insidious Men in Black.
You mean the MIB?
MIB phenomenon. Mibs. So, I mean, that's a big three. I mean...
No, I don't. No, we're just pretending not to listen to you.
We were trying to let that slide.
Thanks for the embarrassment. Thanks, guys.
Let you have your time.
No, dude, it's okay.
No, I'm not going to sing anymore.
Listen.
No, I know. I'm glad. We're glad.
Are we done?
We're done.
Millennium. What's up, Millennium?
Barker recorded Frederick's testimony and published it in a newsletter in March of 1976. So, that's technically the end of this event. But there is a postscript I feel like I've got to kind of bring up.
Okay.
This didn't happen directly to Jennings Frederick, but it happened to his mom. It's fucking weird.
So wait a minute. So this whole account... Oh my God, this is like fucking the Bible.
Are you going to get Lazarus?
No,
on
not
this?
really. It's unrelated.
This is secondhand account.
It happened to Jennings' mom.
Okay.
And
no.
So I'm going to add this. It's worth noting that while neither Frederick nor anyone else for that matter would ever again report an encounter with the blood-sucking vegetable man, this would be the second time that the young veteran had had a run-in, at least secondhand, with a strange critter ostensibly from out of this world. As some years before, his mother claimed to have seen a bizarre demonic figure, which I've dubbed the Space Devil, tethered to a flying saucer outside of her West Virginia home.
Do we have Space Devil information?
We do. We're going to save that for another day.
Okay.
So it's both accounts are from his mom.
No.
His mother, prior to this, his mother had the account with the Space Devil.
Saw a silhouetted, horned, demonic-y looking creature.
Okay.
Basically looked like tied like a leash.
Okay. I got confused. I thought you meant that. Okay, so the vegetable man actually happened to him.
Yes.
Okay, I got confused. I thought you meant that didn't happen to him, and that was a secondhand account, and they both were.
No, I probably said it convoluted as I often
now
do.
It makes sense.
But Jennings Frederick was alone bow hunting in West Virginia when he got the notion, turned around, saw the vegetable man.
Okay, so he actually experienced that.
Yes, 100%.
But his mother prior experienced a tethered
like
space thing.
A UFO out walking its demon.
That's probably what it was.
As UFOs want to do, you got to let the demon out a little bit. Just let him go walk, let him float around the atmosphere.
Yeah, there are space demons, as per Event Horizon.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, as per Event Horizon. So, he had an experience, his mother had an experience. Interesting that you have two people in the same family.
Yeah, but that's sort of unrelated. The space that's why it's not included in this,
right?
Because the Space Devil thing.
Well, yes, but no.
It could be related.
Who has a weird encounter like that? Two people in the same.
Almost never.
Yeah.
So it may be fitting, but let's focus on the vegetable man right now.
Okay. All right. So do we want to start Skeptic Pants?
If that's where you feel like if that's the wardrobe you feel you need to don.
Okay, well, for Skeptic Pants, what in nature that exists now looks like a giant stick bug that walks around, a 7-foot tall stick bug?
Green.
Nothing.
Big-eared.
Corn stalks.
Like skeletal fucking Groot walking around.
What time of the year was this? Do we know?
July.
Okay. Yep. Cornfields.
So the end of it. So here's the thing about that. Here's where Uncle Rob dons his rarely used and ultra stiff Skeptic Pants.
Okay.
If there is one kind of thing on Mother Earth that could remain hidden, it is something that, if it folded itself up, looks just like a fuck-sucking plant.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes.
That's right. Okay.
Like you say,
the stick bug is the best camo.
You're walking by, he walks into a cornfield, like you say,
he
or
bends
whatever.
over into some wood.
Wraps his ears around his face. Yeah. That looks like, maybe like the corn cob with the...
Right.
What the wrapping.
Like super camo of some
husk.
sort?
Yeah, husk. Thank you.
Sort of like how...
it could be super camo. If you're in the woods, you freeze.
Don't praying mantises do that, where they can...
well, they freeze.
Yeah, they make themselves look like a stick or something.
Well, a stick bug absolutely is the perfect... Might as well use the example of a stick bug.
Okay,
that's why I keep going, because that's what I
example.
picture in my face.
So while I think there should be more than one sighting of this thing, if they were common, especially in West Virginia... The fact is, if something had a migrating earthbound population. It'd be a little weird if they fed on human blood, but if they mostly fed on animal blood,
okay,
I can see this being the kind of thing that could evolve on Earth.
And it is talking to them.
It's talking, so weird, it's intelligent.
Yeah, but
that adds a twist.
The needing plasma is weird to me.
That is kind of strange.
Yeah. Well, there's Venus flytraps. There's pitcher plants.
Yep.
It's not unheard of.
Well,
to have carnivorous plants, but
carnivorous,
not on this scale.
Not like just plasma.
You're right.
Meat.
That's unknown.
Yeah.
Well, how would the average plant ever be able to, except for the notorious briar? We know, has, a body count in the thousands at this point. But besides the bloody briar, there was like that one legend of a Madagascar plant that never got proven. That was that natives and aboriginals used to tie people that had been convicted of heinous crimes to, or enemy tribesmen, and it would wrap it around. The plant would wrap around the victim and like just drain it of life. Drain him usually of life. It's that's something we should probably do a pod on some point. It's one of the things I read about in just the earliest books on cryptozoology I had. It's never been found, so there's like speculation that maybe it never existed. Understandably, there's no moving plant. Certainly ones that can jump 25 feet in a single bound. That's unheard of.
No,
if it was a hoax perpetrated on him by somebody, that's a lot of work.
All right, that's impossible.
That's a lot of work.
I think we can rule that one out.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of work.
We can't
I didn't know how you
rule
pull
out
that one off.
That Frederick perpetrated a hoax, or that Gray Barker, who was sometimes known as a bit of a shady dude, but did report on some what I think are legitimate phenomenons, like the Flatwood Monster, the Mothman, and also Men in Black, as aforementioned. But maybe one of those two I could believe would hoax it. I cannot possibly believe that anyone can fake a quarter-sized arm.
Okay. Yeah, no, that would be...
Yeah, there's a lot there.
Or blood-sucking fingertips, or... you'd have to have been... I don't know what kind of special... Stan Winston couldn't do that in his prime.
That's a lot. That's a very far way to go to try to trick somebody.
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
and for no benefit.
I respect it. If that's how your friends get you, respect.
Oh, yeah. No, if that's how you get punked... Awesome.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Good job.
Bang
Congratulations.
Up.
There you go.
But considering how absolutely obscure the story is, how very few people heard of it, and like it hasn't made the rounds on Crypto Series or even that many books, and the sheer absurdity of his account makes a lot of people, even people that are devout to cryptozoology, dismiss it. But I think that's one of the reasons we should take it at least seriously enough to give it its day in court.
Yeah, totally.
Because, it could be this, but then you got to jump to the other conclusion, which is the one that Frederick himself jumped to, which is it's an extraterrestrial.
Right, aliens.
It was making a pit. It's where plants evolved instead of apes, and they like to suck the blood of just the way we would eat, corn on the cob and some baby carrots.
I'm curious if there is any, if that area in West Virginia that he's in, if there's any noted UFO sightings there, if there's anything happening, West
Virginia's had some flaps. I'm not an expert, but they have.
Is
definitely.
It like a hotbed for UFOs? Now, I know West Virginia is where
Point Pleasant.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, lest we forget.
Yeah, Sheep Squatch too.
Yep.
Sheep's.
They've got some Hall of Fame motherfuckers in West Virginia.
Yeah, they do.
Like, you could, if you just wanted to, and I'm sure somebody has, write a book on just the West Virginia critters and UFO sightings, and because you also have Indrid Cold that ties in with all that, which is a Grinning Man, which is a story I cannot wait for us to get to.
Awesome.
Plug. But seriously, there's a lot of fun stuff in West Virginia. This is unique, as these things often are.
Yeah. I mean, of course, as we mentioned in the Space Penguins of Tuscumbia, hallucinating is always a possibility. But again, it's not necessarily that can happen to anybody. I think Chris said it can cover literally every thing that happens.
If he fell on a patch of psychedelic mushrooms, chewed his way out of them.
LSD briars.
Well, it doesn't have to always be.
LSD
I mean,
briars.
I want to believe that it always is psychedelic mushrooms, but it doesn't always have to be. It could be something else. We actually
bread mold.
We did at one point mold. We did at one point mention diabetic hallucinations, because when we forgot to mention that all three of us on a fairly regular basis
have had to
have family members who have diabetes, and they do hallucinate.
Sure do.
And sometimes they see seals in the ceiling, Robert.
Attic seals.
Sometimes I'm told that things just don't taste good anymore, and they can't find their way out of the house.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and I'm not sure about
talk.
Chris's situation, but we have people that have,
No, I just had my dad trying to, and whatever. Both of my parents have diabetes, actually.
Oh, really?
So I'm fucked. It's just a matter of time.
Okay.
But he was just standing there trying to understand what the calendar meant. Looking at the numbers and just trying to figure out, but it's the second of the month. Like,
so, like, he's doing what I do when I'm super stoned.
Yeah.
Staring at the calendar like,
yeah.
I don't get it, man. Just don't get it. I like it. I'm about
just talking out loud, trying to figure out what the numbers mean, man, on the calendar.
All right. Well,
you know, the thing I feel about this, and this all happens to our loved ones, is that my first instinct, and this might sound heinous, is to be just flabbergasted and amused. Like, I can't believe this is happening. A third of a second later, it's replaced by terror because it's a horrible medical condition that's afflicting a loved one.
Totally.
But my first second is like, I don't know. I don't talk to the TV people and wish them good night because I just
no,
I don't.
Mom. The Rocks are not going to Canastota. Yeah. They're not going to go to Canastota.
They might road trip to Poughkeepsie.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the rest of the night is spent making sure the sugar gets balanced and, the proper medical authorities are called. So when we suggest this, we suggest it not without a more than modicum of personal experience.
Yeah, but again, Chris suggested it, and it stands true that could literally be the case for anything we talk about
all the time,
forever,
forever and ever. A young man. Now, once you leave the Air Force, you could get massively out of shape. But I'm assuming that if he's still pretty fresh, and it's July of '68, so it might very well have been a draft situation. He probably he might have served the tour
in the Air Force. I would assume that he would have been not assume, but he could have. I think most people were.
He was described as a young man. I don't believe a specific age was given.
Right.
But I don't think we're going out on too far of a limb to assume that he was probably still in the kind of health a young man would be.
Deploy ready shape.
And it's probably not a crazy diabetic attack.
Yeah. No. Not at all.
So getting rid of that, I can't think of any other rational explanation. Like, this defies
rationale.
Once you take out, if you take out, for the sake of argument, hoax, and he's probably not dosed, and he's probably not having
take out drugs and mental illness or whatever.
Yeah.
Aside,
don't forget the booze.
You have to include. No one ever hallucinates on booze. I mean, maybe somebody does if you have the super DTs. I should never say never, but none of us are strangers. Strangers. I know. Strangers to the drink, and I have never once seen a fucking cryptid, a UFO.
I never saw Count Draxparagus. In my fucking backyard.
See, if you had said that earlier, that would have been the name of this thing.
Yeah.
Well, it was named by Brad Steger, but still, Draxparagus is much cooler.
So if we're going to look at this and say that this, from what this guy is in his account, that this is an extraterrestrial, some form of alien that comes here. I mean, it says don't fear. What does it say again? It says
now that's the other thing we have to really talk about is the actual
don't be afraid. I know you all.
Yeah, the exact words from this
I come in peace.
Chipmunk talking alien.
You go in pieces.
That was my favorite part of the movie.
That reference. Yeah.
You need not fear me. I wish to communicate. I come as a friend. We know of you all. I come in peace. I wish medical assistance. I need your help.
Yeah, medical assistance.
So if this is an extraterrestrial and it's communicating with them, it understands enough of the English language to communicate with humans, which is an interesting point.
Yeah.
Or is this just they're like recited like when you go to Earth say this?
It could very well be.
Because
it does sound
they want to attack you.
Like a salesman's pitch.
Yeah,
like you want to deliver this and then this.
Exactly.
Right.
And then clearly what happens, you get closer to it and then and then it has you.
But I mean, if you're food, why not just kill you?
That's true too.
Or just take you, or take the whole fucking.
Yeah, why have the game? Or maybe it just likes the thrill of the hunt.
I don't think that was much of a thrilling hunt.
Maybe for
it grabs you. No, because it grabbed him, took a little bit, got swirly eyed,
right?
It made him not feel it for some reason, unless that's just what that biology does. But that would make no sense if that's just your prey. Then everything should have evolved to make them not feel pain, but that's not the case. So why would that be a thing?
When you get stung by
so maybe he just took enough, then he fucking bucked.
If you get stung by a scorpion, is it the same idea where it'll sting you, but it also numbs it, or is it a snake?
I'm not familiar with that.
I thought there was something that when it bites you,
I know it's.
I know mosquitoes.
That's
do that.
not all right. Mosquitoes might have a certain thing that go. No, they have something that goes in that's an anticoagulant.
Oh, that's what it is, anticoagulant.
So that makes the blood flow freely. And who knows? This thing might have been riddled with anticoagulants.
Yeah, who knows? But
we don't know. But let's talk about the facts we know. It's intelligent.
It can communicate, yeah.
It can communicate.
Yep.
And I don't think it's just like a parrot imitating sounds, but it might be, but I don't think so. It requires blood somehow, maybe for genuine medical assistance, maybe for food. It doesn't take enough to do any permanent damage. It has a natural or designed anesthetic so that it's not painful for the person, and they're also sort of subdued through hypnosis so that they don't panic, which is also, it helps the predator, if it is indeed a predator.
Yeah, that's not a moral thing that developed. That's just so it doesn't know it's fucking you up. But so you don't know it's fucking you up.
You're right. But what could be a moral development, as opposed to that, is the fact that it only exsanguinates you enough to not really do any harm to you, and then to get what it needs and takes off. And so with all these factors, you almost have to entertain the idea, maybe it is like an extraterrestrial scientist that absolutely needs this blood to run some essential tests, either for its own people or to help some other people on the other side of the world, or criminy knows what.
Criminy.
I'm not saying that is the theory that has the most credibility.
That's a cool script, and I would totally back that.
Scientist
sounds
alien.
cool.
But he says he needs medical help.
That's true.
We have to at least entertain the notion that it's not lying.
It seems like if it's an extraterrestrial and it uses the term medical, it just seems kind of like that's a human term.
Well, you know? I assume medicine is a universal concept.
Well, if it took the time to know English, then
then it would have time to know what to say. It's kind of neat, though. It almost like it lulls you into a sense of help me.
Yeah.
And then right when you get there, it just it grabs you.
It terrifies you with its appearance.
Yeah.
It tries to lull you with its soothing Alvin and the Chipmunk-like diatribe. Then it lunges out and grabs you, and you're terrified and feel pain, excruciating pain, according to Jennings.
And then it runs away.
And then it hypnotizes you so you no longer feel the pain, so it can drink 2 minutes worth of your shit, and then breaks away and is like, out of here! But he doesn't torment you, he doesn't scare you, he doesn't try to kidnap you.
Not even that much.
So it's actually the most innocuous predator, if it is a predator, that I've ever heard of.
It's pretty weak if it's a predator.
It just shows
it's
up
either weak
blood,
or merciful. Like, I don't want to have to do this, but I gotta, so I'm going to make every step as pain-free as possible.
Well, it's like the good vampire.
I wonder how much...
The golden vampire, Forgotten Realms.
The golden vampire?
I wish not to kill you, but I need blood.
Yeah.
I wonder how much blood in 2 minutes it took out of his body.
You know, I had blood taken out today at a lab, Vegetable Man Free.
Good.
And they took about 4 or 5 vials or so, and it seemed to take a while, and it seemed to be a lot. So maybe these suction things can really... I would think you needed a cookie afterward and a nap.
Yeah.
Because it seems 2 minutes worth of blood... Unless it's sucking real slow.
I always need the cookie afterwards, and I need like the water. No, I need it. I need the water, and I need the juice. And fun fact, I tend to pass out.
Oh, do you?
I really do.
How much do you give?
It doesn't matter. As soon as what happens is when I feel
it doesn't matter
when I feel the needle in the vein.
Yeah.
That pressure of the blood leaving my arm almost instantly causes me to pass out.
Yeah, because like, oh my God,
I was like,
the unthinkable.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. You would not get along well with a vegetable man.
Well, I can't. I can't donate blood because I get tattooed so often that within 6 months you can't get. I get tattooed at least once every. I don't know, constantly. But
right.
Yeah, but when I do have to go for tests and everything, I do when that suction hits my arm, it gives me an automatic I'm sweating, the eyes. And
that's so funny because you clearly aren't. You don't have an aversion to needles.
Well, no, but in the vein hypodermics like that,
it sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks.
So let's say that the vegetable man grabs me and he gets me and he puts them in. I'm done.
You wouldn't have had time to see swirly eyes. You would have been out.
Just be down. I'd be out. I'd be laying there like, give me a cookie, please.
Just take my blood. Get the fuck out, Draxparagus.
I'm sweating so bad right now. You have no idea how bad I'm sweating. That's the worst part is it's an instant soaking sweat.
I believe it.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
No, that's just that's panic anxiety.
Yeah, it's my body trying to shut down to remove itself from the needle.
No, I'm dead. I'm not worth.
Your veins close up.
Sickly.
Yes, my veins close.
I'm sickly and dying.
So there hasn't been any other reported sightings of the vegetable man.
No.
If my wife,
it is unique.
If my wife is listening, I would like her to note that I said vegetable and not vegetable.
Vegetable.
I may say that on occasion.
Really? You just don't feel like saying words?
Yeah,
so you're just like vegetable?
So there hasn't been any other sightings. This is a one-off.
Right.
It does sort of lend itself to the mantis alien, sort of. The mantis alien race. A little bit. You know.
Though you would think a guy that described it as thoroughly as he did would have noticed if it was the spitting image of a praying mantis.
Yeah, no.
Right. Well, I don't know. Isn't there variants? There's been different variants.
No, there's all sorts. There's like tall, skinny. There's Nordics. There's grays. There's thin grays. There's skinny.
Isn't there like
Rasta
short
grays
too?
Well, that's the main gray.
There was that shitty stick gray in Close Encounters.
Yeah,
that's true.
The terrifying.
That was the worst part.
To spread its arms like the Savior Jesus Christ. Heresy. Can't believe that made it through.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so there you have it. That is the Vegetable Man, West Virginia. I mean, I think are we all on board with saying extraterrestrial? Possibly,
I don't know.
Not 100%.
Not 100%.
Okay.
I mean, I guess
right.
veggie. It's just it's just weird, man.
If he had just seen the UFO to go with that transistor humming sound, I would be like, of course, we might not have seen the beast enter, but
a flashlight or something from wherever.
But he just heard a sound, and that's it. And I get it. I get it. You're a hunter. You spend a lot of time in the woods. You think, I've never seen anything like this. This can't be from Earth. It can talk.
Yeah.
Right.
No way, Jose. But
no way, Josie.
And even though I think there's probably a better than 50% chance that it's extraterrestrial, maybe even better than 75, 80% chance, I can't say with 100% of surety that it's not indigenous to Earth.
Okay. No, because you can't.
You did mention that the guy that he reported this to does have a questionable background.
A little bit.
Okay, so we should keep that in mind.
And we must
while
bear
we're
that
talking
in mind.
about this. We should 100% keep that in mind.
We need to bear that in mind.
Okay.
But we also have to remember that he did bring us accounts like the Flatwoods Monster, the indefatigable Mothman, and the notorious Men in Black.
Unfortunately, though, with stuff like this, is all you need to have is one shenanigan pulled on you, and you're no matter how much
one hoax, and
no matter how much you've proven, it's out. It's out. It's down. It's out the door. So, but we'll keep all that in mind.
Word.
Which is why, if I may add, on our website cryptopia.us, we have never once feigned anything. We might have been lied to. We can't always tell.
We get lied to actually quite a bit. It's kind of disheartening.
Yeah, but we try to weed out. We try to weed out the particular garbage.
Their intentions in their heart are pure.
You mean
the words from their mouth might not be so pure?
I feel like we've encountered
intentions. I think they're good.
I don't always
know. Is it the heart of the cards? Is it Yu-Gi-Oh?
I can indulge embellishers. I can indulge those that maybe can't remember the facts as crystal clear as you might because it was so terrifying and or astounding. All of that, and I include whatever into the articles without I take everyone pretty much face value unless it's absurd. Like the crab frog from the sewage treatment plant years ago that was so obviously somebody jamming together an old lobster and a frog carcass and a clamshell.
Yeah, no, I've been there, man. I've been there.
And it's just like these things cannot be allowed.
Sounds like something, Chris.
Yeah.
Look what I got, guys.
I know.
Check it out, guys. It's rare.
The dry leaf of Smith Street.
Mystery.
Dude, it's a dry leaf. It's just...
no.
Seriously.
There's nothing mysterious about it. You should have seen how I came about
it. It's fall, and it didn't rain. It's a dry leaf.
That's funny. Okay.
Vegetable Man remains enigmatic.
Yeah. This falls under the one-shot, one deal.
Yep, one-shot
wonder.
wonder.
You get it once, boom. If you happen to have any more information on the Vegetable Man,
God bless you.
Be sure to hit us up, Cryptonaut Podcast. We're available on the social medias, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. As we mentioned in the beginning of the show, be sure to rate and review this podcast on iTunes. We very much appreciate it. And as we mentioned also, too, check out the Pine Barrens Institute.
Absolutely.
We're going to leave the link to that in the description of this podcast. And again, thank you to Derek and Addie as well over at the Monsters Among Us of the Facebook fan page, which is I'm in there all the time. We're all super active. It's super fun. It's a great little community. And of course, Derek and his podcast, who recently launched their Patreon account. Be sure to check that out and become a patron. There you have it. And we have a possible two-parter coming up next week.
Oh, snap.
So get ready for our very first two-parter.
It's going to be exciting.
I'm pretty excited. So there you have it, Ann. We're talking to you soon.
The fudge cometh.
Cliffhangers.
Oh, the Iceman coming.